Good morning, folks. The shaver that I've been talking about, the Schick Injector, that I got for $2.99 on eBay. Here it is. The best I can tell, this is a G model. It's not easy determining when these were made. This one here, I believe, is from 1946 to 1955. I believe that's when this one here was made. And one of the differences that a person might be able to see is that there are flaps right here on the spring, and this one here does not have that. And besides, there's also patent numbers inside that kind of give you an idea about when these were made. This one here be this one here be 1935 to 1945. And if you're familiar with, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but up inside there where that spring meets the base of the razor head there, you see a little tab sticking out, and that spring is kind of like got a notch out for it, so it fits up in there. This one here is different, and I don't know if you can see that the top of that spring is flat, and there's two restrictors, if you will, on each side to hold that spring in place. Small differences here and there in between the razors over the years. Like I say, very small changes. As it goes for the handles, I have one here where the handle is ribbed. And then I have one that has a textured coating on it. And all these look very similar, so for somebody that's relatively new trying to figure all this out, it's very interesting. I'll put some links down below to give a person some information on how you can determine what do you have. And I think like this one here is the Model I. I might be wrong on that, I can't remember for sure, but I think this is a really nice shaver. And then as time goes on, I think you're going to see more and more artisans take an injector and do some things like you might see North Shore do their spin on a Schick Injector. And this one here came by the way of Metalworks. Really love this one here. It's a really nice razor. Did a great job on it. But anyway, thought I'd show you a little bit of something. And like I say, I got some information I'll put down below, some links to kind of help you with the timeline, models, the differences in between them, so that if you have one and you're trying to figure out at least a span like 1935 to 1945 or whatever the case might be, or if you even have some of the newer ones, about what the time frame is and whatnot. There is from what I can gather, I don't have it, maybe I should put it on my Christmas list, is a book on safety razors with patent numbers and you know, a little bit of history and behind the razor maker and whatnot. And this one I looked at on eBay, the best I could tell, looked like it might be 500 pages long, something like that. The soap of the day is, got it from a website that's in the UK, and it's Modern Man. And actually the cream, which is very creamy, I mean, in that the consistency is not as thick as one might be used to, say like a Derby, an Arco, a Parasso, or anything quite like that. It's a very soft cream. And this is a Sicilian lime. I can smell it. It's kind of funny. I smell it more now than I do right out of the tub. Here, let me show you what it looks like. Oh, by the way, yes, I do have it whipped up here in my handy dandy bowl. It's got grooves in the bottom of it. And there it is. Min rock. Don't know what Sicilian lime. I guess this is what it's supposed to smell like. Here's the consistency. Like I say, it's very soft. I'm going to put my finger in it because now I've got it over my hands. It's very soft. Not like a lot of the other creams that I've used in the past where they're a little bit thicker. But this one here, I can smell it, which that's pretty good for me. I've already put a hot towel to the face, and I didn't bloom this by any means. But I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Excellent buy. Have to say, you can't, it's relatively inexpensive nowadays to get started into the wet shaving hobby, if you will. If a person was to look long enough online, you'll find that you can do this on a daily basis inexpensively and get very good shaves. Now, I am not sure shave-wise the difference between an E and a G. Oh, I should say both also. Those E's and G's seem to have multiple versions, like 1 through 5. Very slight differences. Like, for instance, this one here has the grooves going across that safety bar. This one here, it's not consistent through there. It goes in, those grooves go every which way. Just a lot of little things here and there kind of give you a clue about what you have in your hand. It does make it interesting, at least for me, the history. I like the history of it. To a degree, these things for many years didn't really change a whole lot, which might tell you a lot about the design, and that the design was very well put together. I think the shaving cream, when I got it on sale, was right about the $6 mark. You can look at Personna, catch it on sale for about the same going price, maybe a little bit cheaper. $5, $6, $7, somewhere right in that price range. In other words, it's not too hard to find an inexpensive cream that is still of quality. And that's a cream. There are soaps out there that you can find that are pretty good. In other words, Italian Barber puts out several right around the $4 or $5 price range usually. The instructions for this particular cream also mentions about you can use your hand if you don't have a brush, but they recommend a brush. And oh, I have to say that it was very easy to lather up. And you can kind of tell that's just left over on my face. For me, these kind of shaves are always fun. When you start looking at the history of the razor, the shaver itself. The blade I'm using is a Personna, and it is the mini hair shaper variety, which I reload into a Schick Injector with a key, in other words. This brush, the bristles this is a synthetic knot, and the handle is purple heartwood. It also came by the way of Metalworks. As you can tell, this cream's pretty good. I mean, it covers the face without a problem. The cream doesn't dissipate. for the price, you can't really complain. Across the grain. Like I say, you may have to hunt, but it is possible to find inexpensive razors of quality. I don't know the shave difference in between an E and a G. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if there's any difference, or for me it's not that noticeable. That's my experience. There is some feedback with it. It's a very smooth, comfortable shave, which for me, that's what I'm after. Not necessarily that BPS. It's not that I strive for it. Smooth, comfortable, close shave. I've shaved with these a few times. Really like them. You can get good shaves with them, in other words. And if you're using a good cream or soap and your technique's pretty good, very minimum risk of irritation. Pretty good shavers. I think what's pretty much happened over time, just like anything else, is that, you know, something new comes out and the old falls to the wayside. I have a PAA injector that's adjustable, as well as one that's non-adjustable. Get great shaves out of those also. I don't have a Schick injector that's adjustable. That's on my list one day. Yeah, it's very smooth, comfortable shave. I guess you might say I could get by with a 2.5 pass. I have hair right down in here on both sides that grow at unusual angles, and sometimes if you go back over it, I guess you might say with a buffing motion, you can pick those up and be done with the shave. I'd have to say this would be especially if you're in a hurry, this would be a good razor to use. Kind of feel like it's mild enough that you wouldn't risk irritation because you're not really focusing on your shave if you're in a hurry. So in other words, doing a video and shave at the same time, it's taken me a lot of practice to get where my shaves and everything is pretty comfortable. If you haven't seen one of my older videos where I mentioned, it took me a month before I even did a shave of the day posting. Just kind of uncomfortable with it. I'm a lot better now. If there is a con for any of this Schick Injector, it would be that the blades, brand names, is far and in between. I did get some shaving cream up there, didn't I? Thought I saw something still up there. You are limited on name brands when it comes to blades for these things. For me, that's not an issue, but for others, it could be. In other words, I have seen where some people didn't like the shave they got with the injector. It may not be necessarily the blade that they were. It would be the blade in that the thickness. It gives you a different shave feel. If you're used to a DE shaver, it's a different shave feel. So in other words, you might be more comfortable if you're going from a DE to a Schick Injector. Might focus a bit more on your pre-shave, because that that blade feel is different. That blade on an injector, the blade is thicker than a DE blade. So your shave might be, how you say, comparable to one that you might get with a gym. I guess that's something I knew or accepted from the get-go, knowing that the different blades and different thicknesses is going to give me a different shave feel. But that's like, I mean, we'll find out what the alum block says. Like I say, this is not a BBS shave by any means, because I'd have to work some more on my neck, and I'm not. Neck for most guys, or that's where the, I guess you might say, the easy to get irritation, and it's a Saturday. I don't know that it's that important for me to get that close of a shave. Let's go ahead and see what the alum block has to say. Complete with the rubber band there. And it is getting smaller. This will be a first use on the blade. And if you notice, for me, it's getting, over time, it's getting better, but still noticeable. The redness right here, right around the sideburn area, it's normal with me, especially down here on my neck right there. It's not uncommon for that to be red hours after I shave. It's not that it's irritated, it's just something about me. And also with my alum block, I do just dry it off on a dry towel, and then I just put it right back in its case. I'll continue doing that, and over time I'll see if there's any, how can you say, ill effect, but so far I have not seen anything negative about it so far. Got Humphrey's Witch Hazel today. I'm going to follow this shave up with Uncle John's Lime aftershave. And to an extent, I will be double dipping in that Uncle John's aftershave has witch hazel in it, so. Hopefully, if you're interested in a Schick Injector, the information and the links that I put below will kind of help you, I guess you might say, with a little bit of background about the razor you may have or be interested in. Matter of fact, it tells you right there on the back. Witch hazel. And the lime just rolls right out of there. Smells great. I like the lime scent. Citrus. Great shave this morning. Alright, so top the shave off with Uncle John's, did I say Dr. John's earlier? I may have, I don't know. Anyhow, Uncle John's Lime aftershave. My alum block of the day, which is one I'll continue to use for until it's gone. Humphrey's Witch Hazel. Oh, and sometimes most of the time it seems like I do forget. Here's my beard oil. I'll do that off camera. It takes a little bit of a while. I kind of enjoy putting it in there. And still got plenty of shaving cream in there. Bowl there with the grooves in the bottom of it. Special shaver of the day, $2.99 special from eBay. I think with shipping it was $10.50 altogether. That's an awfully good price for a shaver like this. It's in really good shape, considering how old this is. What, 1946 to 55? It's in really good shape. This was an awesome buy. Good luck today on a Saturday. If you're out and about looking for those in the wild, stay safe and smooth shaves to you.